Hello guys, this is Mary Lee and welcome to my Organized Chaos. Inside my classroom, my students are working on mini Socratic seminars. They have analyzed primary documents, created questions based on the primary documents, and they have formed their own and drawn their own conclusions based on the questions they've created inside one's head. Let's in my classroom. Go ahead. Okay guys, I'm going to interrupt you just a minute and pick on you guys because, basically, you're the first ones right here, so why not? Okay, Ben, and since you turned around so nicely, I'm going to pick on you even more. Could you tell the kind of people in Florida, how do we prepare for a Socratic seminar?
Yes, ma'am, I would. Okay, basically, we go to Edmodo, which is our Facebook page at school, and we go down and scroll down to Miss Lay's class, Lay 2, and we go down to the Socratic seminar page, and then we usually read a text and make a set of questions, and then we make a most likely statement.
Okay, and when you form your most likely statement, what are you essentially doing?
Usually we're trying to generalize what they did last.
Okay, exactly. You're generalizing and drawing conclusions. Okay. All right. And pass the microphone to Emerson because I'm gonna ask her a quick question. How are the texts? Are they primary or secondary text?
They are usually primary unless they are opinions of what people think about the primary documents, which that would be secondary.
Okay, but when we do a Socratic seminar, they are what kind of documents?
Most likely primary.
Yes, exactly. Okay. All right, now we're going to mosey on over to this next group. We're going to interrupt their fine work that I hear going on, and pick on them a minute, and get their thoughts on the Socratic seminar. Okay, Nick, just because you're facing me, and I know that you're thinking along the lines I am, why do we prepare for a Socratic seminar before we come to class?
We prepare before we come to class because during class, we only have a limited time for each class, and we have to use the time wisely, as you always say. So why would we take time to write our questions and our most likely statements in class when we could out of class and it wouldn't hurt us a bit?
So in other words, you're saying that's something you can do independently?
Yes, you can do it independently a whole lot faster probably than with more distractions in class.
Very good for pointing that out, that when you're at home and you're coming up with these questions and inferring, you're not as distracted.
Right.
But why is it important to have your colleagues here to talk about the questions? Jordan, you want to
It's important. It's important because so you don't just hear your thoughts, you hear everybody else's thoughts, and you can come up with more questions and conclusions on what you're all thinking of.
So in other words, I like what you're saying. So in other words, you're saying that when other people offer their opinions, then it might kind of spark some more ideas inside your brain, or that aha moment of, I didn't think of that. That's a good idea. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, now I'm going to come over here to this group. Okay. Now, these guys told us why we prepare before class and why we do that, because we don't want to waste the time on things that we can do at home, right? That's why we flip it. We flip that type of assignment for at home so that we can get to the real important things while we're here at school. Could you kind of talk to me about that? What's really important when you come to school when you're doing these Socratic seminars? What's the importance of a Socratic seminar, Hayden? Because I'm looking directly at you, so I'm going to pick on you.
When you do a Socratic seminar, it's like I said before, everything, it's not just an individual thing. You've got to have more people, and that's why, of course, we do it in groups. So, when you discuss it in groups, what are you doing? Like, and Jordan said it very well. You're putting all your thoughts together, and what are you able to do at that point? Get the best conclusion you can.
Okay, you come up with the best answer. So in other words, so when you're looking at these primary sources, are you getting right their answers, or are you having to come up with your own answers?
You have to infer.
Sort of both.
Okay.
You have to infer and use
lots of question stems and use metacognition. Is when we get conclusions from our mind, which we think about what is this? What does this do? About Alexander Graham Bell, and we make questions, good question stems like I wonder why, what if, how did this, and why do you think? And then we use inference, which is most likely, and then we get our conclusions from this whole group. We call it a big conclusion.
And I liked what you said. You said that fancy teacher word, metacognition, and we know that that's our own thoughts, our mental filing cabinet. So you're taking your prior knowledge and doing what? Using your schema and
we're using everything we've learned in language arts, like questions, stems, how to write a good question, how to make it expand vocabulary for the questions, all that kind of stuff.
oh, okay. Okay, very good. Okay, we're gonna mosey on over to this group. Okay. And this group, we're gonna go ahead and let them start throwing some questions out and listen to some of their actual questions they've created. And I'm gonna let Emma Grace kind of lead the way.
Why do you think that on the drawing of the invention there is a number for the invention on the patent? And I said most likely the number is on the patent to identify the number of the invention.
I think that they would have those numbers so they could organize the patents. So if they were looking for a certain patent, they could find that so no one else could take credit for the patent.
Oh, okay.
Because most likely it'd be easier to keep up with the invention and everything you needed for it and how you were going to set it up if you have a patent and the number for it.
I basically agree with both of y'all. I think that so they won't lose it, basically.
Because why do we need a patent? Why does an inventor need a patent? Why would they want to keep up with that number and know? It's what?
For credit.
Okay, so it gives credit to their what? Invention. So can anybody else come along and steal their invention?
No.
What if they don't have a patent?
Then
And it's open. Yeah, it's open season, isn't it? Exactly right. Okay.
Everybody's game.
Okay, very good. I'm gonna go over here and pick on this group once more. Okay, Rebecca, I see you guys have some great questions that you've created. Let me ask you this. This whole Socratic seminar, this analyzing primary documents, like historians do, looking at actual replicas from the time period, what does that allow you to do as history students?
It allows us to evaluate what people have made from the past and a lot of what went on back then and what was being made at that time period. And it lets us discover how they did this stuff, and with these primary sources we can go in depth to it a lot more.
I like that you said that word discover. So in other words, are you just gaining knowledge about history, or are you discovering for your own?
Discovering and gaining knowledge.
Okay, so both. Okay, go ahead.
You get you have all this information that you have, and you can put it into more in depth, an overall conclusion on what you learned all about one person,
Right.
and what led to all these inventions. You put all these little knowledge and all this little stuff that you know into one big thing.
So let me ask you this. So is this way, this method of discovering history versus learning history from a textbook, what's the difference in that? What are the difference? Why would it be better to do a Socratic seminar versus doing a lesson in your textbook? And I'm gonna pick on AJ. You can grab the mic.
It would be better to do a Socratic seminar because you would get more information out of it and more detail into the passage than just doing a little lesson.
Exactly, and like you said, you get more detail and you get to go more in depth. What does that do to your thinking?
It boosts your intelligence.
Wow.
during when you're reading the passage, because you're getting more about this person and what they're inventing.
So when you start asking yourself questions, do you ever find yourself asking yourself more questions?
Yes.
Oh, great. That's good to hear. Thank you guys for visiting my classroom. Feel free to come back anytime to Newmarket, Alabama. Thank you and have a good day.